I'm here.
Oh,
I'm in the
that's
flesh. Let me turn down my tunes. Hold on. I got Christmas songs going, so you know how to do it. Gail's back from Ed Milet. Gail, tell me what's happening. You look all fired up, like you're supercharged.
I feel like I've been activated.
Whoa.
Seriously. It was like I really needed that. I really, really needed that. It was like incredible. It was an
Why you haven't
incredible.
you haven't had a challenging 2 years?
But you know what? Just being in that room with those people, and it was
And
like,
what was it, Gail, that you went to?
I was at Ed Milet's house yesterday, and
Oh,
it was so great because I was sitting right next to him for 8 hours. I could see the second hands on his watch. It was this really powerful. I ended up actually hiring him as my personal coach, which
wow.
uh, which I woke up and I'm like, what the fuck did I do? But I'm like, you know what? I kind of felt the Holy Spirit just say, do it, do it. Don't worry about the details. Money will come. So
It'll
yeah,
come.
I'm really excited to go down that path because, as you all know, I'm really on a. Are we just personal? Or is everyone listening?
No, we're listening. Go ahead.
No, I mean
Yeah,
the
everyone's
participants.
listening. Yes.
Oh well, let's
Here.
not talk about that now.
Hear your gift. Come on.
No, no, I'm just saying it's like I just have not found anybody around me, like in my particular area here, that really has wanted that I'm like, oh my God, they're a badass. I want that's what I want. Or people to really inspire me to like be more and you know do more. And it was really interesting because he every year has a he's actually taking over the John Maxwell
Oh
that
wow.
whole thing because John has asked him to step into his shoes, and they pick a word every year, like what's that
Yep.
word?
Yep.
So for me, my word, and I'm like, how do you find a word? And usually it's money, right? It's like, but or freedom. So my word this year was going to be. I just woke up with them, like okay, because when I woke up and I realized, oh my God, what did I do? I paid how much, right? I said, my word is faith, right? Now, just having the faith that this is where I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, God's going to provide. And, we go in that comfort zone of like, what is safe, anxiety, worry. Do I have enough? Will I have enough? I need more. And that's a horrible place to live. That's where I've been living for the last couple of years, just with the amount of money going out with my mother. So, it was just I really felt like my husband's like, oh my God, you're like vibrating, come closer. I'm like, no, get away. I'm like,
Stay away from me. I like that. That's
yeah, so
funny.
I'm very excited. I'm actually taking on a couple more coaching clients because I feel like there's so many agents out there that especially non-EXP agents that just are stuck. If 2025 sucked, 2026 is going to be worse. But I'm super excited because energy creates energy, right? Whether or not you believe in the law of attraction or anything like that, if you're in a room with people that I don't know who said it, wasn't me, but I always go by it. People are either going to drive you or they're going to drain you, right? And so
Yeah.
that's why I love this group because you guys drive me. And I'm really making a commitment for 2026 to be on this, Thursday. This is the most important meeting of my week because
I
it
like
has
that.
been my
I like that a
YouTube
lot.
day. So, but now I changed my YouTube day to Wednesdays.
So Wednesday, so speak on that for a sec, because I'm sure a lot of people have questions
Yeah.
about that. Your YouTube so you shoot content for your YouTube
Every
channel on
Wednesday. Well,
Wednesday?
it's usually the only reason I was doing it Thursday was because I started to do some different YouTube videos where I sit a videographer in my passenger seat. I drive and I do drone tours of the neighborhood. And that's been getting me a lot. I mean, a lot of business. So I really commit to one day a week and that was the only day he could do it. And I finally just said to him today, I'm like, not today, a couple of days ago, I go, dude, I'm not doing Thursdays anymore. It's got to be Wednesday or I find somebody else. So you have to be committed. And that's one of the things that's really driven my business. My YouTube channel has exploded. I'm ready to start a second one. And I'm very, very stoked about that. So that's going to be like, and now I know what that I know. I kind of know what I'm doing. I really, I really kind of go against the grain on everything because everything that I've been taught with YouTube, it's like, I'm not going to watch 40 videos. Are you freaking kidding me? No, I get through the first three. As soon as I learn how to push the button, right? It's like, and then you just do it, right? Because done is better than perfect. I don't need to know about optimization and SEO and all that. I pay people to do that, right? So it's like, you have to understand it. Like when I ran a photography studio, I knew how to do Photoshop. I knew everything about it, but I didn't do it because I don't make money when I'm sitting there making things look pretty. So
how much do you pay the people to edit it and to do the detail work and everything else that you need for that YouTube channel?
Sure. So let me see who's on this channel right now. Who's listening? Let's see. Let me see if there's anybody on my team. They think I'm rich anyway. So right now, oh, let me shut that off. I'm sorry, I'm on a Zoom. Can I call you back?
So you're vibrating.
Okay. She's writing an offer. Okay, so right now, and that's been a struggle because I've had some shitty, crappy, people, everybody, because this is taken off, the YouTube is a big thing. I mean, you could pay people like, there's been people on my team that went and paid, I'm not even gonna say who it is, $7,500 to start their YouTube channel. I'm like, are you crazy? What are you doing? I paid $150, right? But then the most important thing is the right editing, right? Because if you're moving on like Godspeed, like I am, right, between this doctor appointment and that pharmacy pickup and listing appointments and all that kind of stuff, so I don't have time to review. I want somebody looking at it. So I started at $1,600 a month, right? And it was like you couldn't talk to a real person. That was passive prospecting, and it sucked, right? Because, and I love those guys, but those guys start, a lot of agents will start a business and walk away from it. So it's like you're talking to all these VAs. I'm like, can I have a real person? Because this is not working for me. So when you're working with VAs and they're not allowed to really reach out to you, although a couple of them did reach out to me after they quit because they couldn't stand it. It was like they were probably getting $10, a video, and I'm paying $1,600 for 3 a month. That was like they reached out to me. So now I am paying. I have a girl that manages my channel, is the same one that, and I'm constantly retuning her too. She works with Lurch, and I'm like, right before this call, I'm like, my new YouTube banner sucks. I go, I don't like it. Why don't put that up unless you talk to me first? So she's like, oops. So you still have to have kind of some control, but I'm paying about $1,000 a month right now, and to me, I mean, if you guys want to talk about YouTube, I'm happy to talk about it because I will be closing $400,000 in commission this year from it in a brand new market.
That's awesome.
So,
Well, this is going to lead into our conversation today for everybody that's on there. The conversation or the topic today is farming strategies to dominate a zip code, like geographic versus demographic farming. What the best practices, either mailers, door knocking, events, and how to become the celebrity agent in your area. So I want to open it with Gail because Gail, I don't know if everybody's aware of this. She was a rock star, had a rock star team in Sacramento. Her mom got sick, and being the great daughter she is, she moved from Sacramento, packed up her family, moved to St. Augustine in Ponte Vedra to take care of Shirley, right? And her
no shit, Shirley.
No shit, Shirley, right? And who's hilarious. And Gail has been on the front line of that, and she started her business in a new area. And Gail and I talk a lot about that because I did the same thing.
And thanks to you,
she's dominating there. So, kind of share your best tactics to people who are on this on farming, door knocking, geographic versus demographic. How do you become that celebrity agent?
Okay, well, I'm going to close at 39 million right now this year, possibly more. I just got another client, but and I'm disappointed. How sad is that I'm disappointed that I'm not hitting 40 million in my first full-time year here, right? But it's like you have to have standards. So like my standard is not, I don't, when you come to any new area, and I don't care if you've been in the same area, you need to do a SWOT analysis, right? You need to figure out what are the strengths that you have, right? What are the weaknesses that you have? What is the opportunity that you have? And what is the threat? So when I first came here, I looked at that and I was scared shit. And I called Pete and I go, what, because Pete made the move the same time I did, right? And, it was like one of those things where that's why I love this group and I love EXP. But I mainly love this group because everybody kind of pours into everybody. So, Pete and I talked about mailers and mailing and really that really is the key to making yourself a local celebrity because that's branding. A lot of people go, I'm in a new area. I'm going to go buy Zillow leads, right? That's how I'm going to get. So it's like, well, what do you do with that? Now you got a listing there. You got a listing 14 miles there, you got, or a buyer, which turns into listings, right? And do you want to design a business around the life you want, or do you want to design a life around the business you have, right? And we all think that, okay, being a real estate agent, right? It's a job, right? When people ask me, what do you do? I'm like, I have a business. I run a business, happens to be in real estate. I am basically an objection handler. That's what I do, right? So I sell the dream, right? I sell the dream. Just like, I'm sitting in Ed Milet's home yesterday. He's selling the dream, right? I mean, that's what we do. So I'm here and I'm like, okay, I'm not buying Zillow leads. I will not. That's a standard. I won't do that, right? Because if you spend money on branding, and I just look, so my strength was, shit, I've done this before, right? So I'm kind of like a surgeon. Like if I did surgery at the UC Davis in California and I come to Mayo Clinic, I could do the same freaking thing. But, what is the weakness? I don't know the area, right? I don't know the area. People don't know me. And my phone's just not ringing. As a matter of fact, it's like my calendar was empty. So that was my weakness. I didn't know the area. Nobody knew me. The opportunity, oh my God, I'm the #1 school district in all of Florida. So what is the opportunity where you are at? Maybe it's near a college. Maybe you could, where I knew I didn't want to work Jacksonville because Jacksonville, the average price point was $350,000. And there's a lot of, crazy little areas in there. So I always went for the best school district because even though my kids are all grown, I got 6 grandkids, the resales, the better. So what is the threat? The threat was the interest rate. So then you put all those things together and what am I going to look for? I'm looking for cash buyers, right? So I went into the over 55 community and I went into the luxury second home community. So that's, so then I looked at those two things and they were so vastly different. And, a lot of us have ego, right? So here I come from like Pete, an area in California where you could sell a Lennar home for $1.4 million, right? You're a luxury agent. And it's, all of a sudden my average price point is $550,000. Well, guess what, people? I'm closing 5 a month. It's still a $2.5 million home and half of them are vacant, right? Because they're snowbirds. So I'm like, I kind of like this. And it's like, I don't have to spend $5,000 on each home for marketing. So my net profit is a whole lot more. That's how I could afford to hire Ed Milet. So, at the end of the day, I'm looking at effort, equals net profit, net profit, right? Because who cares, if you're spending a bunch of money on all these beautiful mailers, which I love, thank you, Pete, for this, because this has made me a local celebrity. So then I surround myself with like, who is really crushing it? So I am like the Antichrist, right? As far as people like when they talk about, all the YouTubers, right? Oh, we never have to call. We don't have to do what is funny because one of my nemesis, who is now one of my, BFFs, Mike Sherrard, he would say, Gail, we don't want to call. We're not going to call expireds. That's old school. You got to do YouTube. And I go, well, you know what, Mike? Here's the thing. I'm open-minded. I will be open and try anything. So I asked him. I said, well, why don't you try calling expires and I'll do YouTube? He said, no, go to hell, right? So anyway, I did them both. And it's just like if you're starting to invest in money, are you going to do everything in the stock market? No. You're going to do like a little mix of things. So I picked 3 things, but I really picked 2 things that I really focus on. So I've focused on YouTube and I made a commitment. I'm doing every freaking week. I've been putting out 3 videos a week and I got up to 78,000 followers. So when I go into a listing appointment, they think I'm a celebrity, right? I go, look, here's what I have. Even though, and I didn't want to be a buyer's agent, but I'll tell you what, these YouTube buyers, people, you got to do it. YouTube buyers, they already have done the research. They watched all the videos. They know I have them get into contract in 3 days, 3 days, because they're only here for maybe a weekend, maybe a week. So it's been a huge game changer. And, this year I have even bigger goals. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing YouTube. I'm doing I'm double downing on my mailers for my branding. They love the market reports. They love that. I do about 6 of them because, I live in a super community. You can't just lump them into one. So that's a big mistake people do because my neighborhood is a little more expensive, right? So you can't put in my comps with, the over 55 where it's 500,000. So when you have a neighborhood, you need to watch them because sometimes there's one street that'll divide one good neighborhood. When I say good, maybe the price points are a little bit different. So between that and then my calling expires, I only call luxury expireds, and I have a whole way I do that as well. I have a piece I sent out.
Max wants me to write an offer for her, even though from Casa.
That sounded really good.
Yeah,
So,
keep it rolling.
Somebody's writing an offer. That's good. That's what we want to do. So
No,
anyway,
I like that.
that's kind of what I've done.
Yeah, and that's how you became a celebrity agent in those neighborhoods surrounding you. And I see all your stuff. It's dynamite. It's great.
And I'll tell you what, Pete, what's really become interesting, I've recruited almost 20 agents without trying to recruit. Because what, energy creates energy. People are like, how are you doing this? And it was like, people that have been here, and that's the thing. Don't believe limiting beliefs. Because when I first moved in here, somebody said, oh, you'll never, ever compete with, this one agent here. He's been here 12 years. He owns the neighborhood. I'm like, that's fine. Hey, there's always room at the top. Well, guess what? I've crushed him this year. You know what I mean? It's like things happen, not because I intentionally wanted to, because I just put my head down and I did what I normally do. I show up every single day to my office at 8 a.m. and that's what I do. And maybe he only shows up 2 days a week at his office, but I'll usually outwork almost anybody or any financial problem, right? Because my dad had 3 jobs. So I just thought everybody did. So.
Are you still doing expireds and FSBOs and everything else? Or are you more focused on?
Only my luxury, and I have a whole spreadsheet. So what I do, I only go after homes that are over $2 million, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I do is I have this, beautiful mailer that I send out, and I'm happy to share it with you. And it has a whole verbiage. I actually just did my second one. Was it yesterday, and where I approved everything. So basically what I do is I find, and these are only 200, right? Because when do I send them out? I send them out during hurricane season because I'm in Florida, right? That's the weakness here. And I send it out this time of year because that's when everybody comes off the market. So I send out my proof of production. Hey, between myself, I have another EXP agent here, Justin Lott. Between the both of us, we've sold $1.5 billion in real estate. And I lumped his local expert. I'm almost at $1 billion by myself, and he's got about 400 million. So at the end of the day, I didn't make it about me. I'm like, who can help me leverage my business here, right? Because then I still want to go, on vacations. Like I'm taking off on Friday for a week. Yay. A cruise that I rescheduled 4 times because my mom's sickness. So. And it's one of those things where if you think you want it all and you can, that's great, but you can't do it all by yourself. You have to have the right people. It was really interesting because when I was at my Let's house yesterday, he has, he's a huge organization, huge, right? His wife was there. His son was there, Max. His only employee, one employee, his sister. That's his sister, Erica, has been running his entire organization. And so he will not, he said, I had 80,000 employees at one time. He goes, I have one person. He goes, what you need to do this time of year, people, is pluck. Pluck. Everybody look at the people around you, your agents, your employees, your friends. And if they're not serving you, get rid of them, because those are the ones that are going to hold you back. Right? So, I told my husband, don't piss me off. I'm plucking right now.
Yeah. They drive you or they drain you, right? They drive you or they drain you. That's it.
100%. Yeah.
No, that's
100%.
great stuff, Gail. That's awesome. Let's go over to Catherine Black. She's probably on her way to the most beautiful Christmas village in France that there is, right? Right on the border of Germany. Tell us about that, Catherine, and tell us how you are dominating certain zip codes in San Diego, either with geographic farming. What's your best practices that you're doing right now to get people to reach out to you?
So, believe it or not, I've not been doing any farming. I've not been calling any expires. So, I'm not the right person to talk today, and I want to listen to everybody else that I can learn, because I do feel at this point I need to start farming, and I just have not. So 80%, 90% of my clients are repeat or referrals, and then I meet other clients through open houses, and that's kind of it. So I feel I'm missing out huge opportunities. And it looks like I'm going to get to the 40 millions, this year without all this. So I can only imagine if I would do something like Gail, which impressed the heck out of me right now, where can I go? So I just want to listen to everybody else who can teach me something today.
No, and some of you don't give yourself enough credit, because I've seen all your videos. Those act as kind of video brochures and motivate people to call you. They're very hip. Catherine's in all the videos. She makes them very electric and lively, and they're not boring videos. It's her dancing around and she's into it, right? And people like that. People gravitate towards energy and excitement and people who are enthusiastic. That's the big thing that people want, right? So I think you're not really sharing the whole thing because you're being humble, but I think you did a great job this year on all your videos, and that definitely has captivated an audience that is going to reach out to you. So I think that's a great form of, demographic marketing. Even though it's not direct mail, it's still getting out there, and you're broadcasting a lot. Because if you guys want to do free marketing, it's called social media, and Catherine's all over the place on social media, and that's gotten her a lot of business. So I appreciate that, and I honor you on that. You've done a great job. I want to go over to Cameron Smith, who is really Dave Lawson, but he's listed as Cameron Smith. I thought Cameron aged overnight. I thought he was Benjamin Button or something. And Oops. Dave, I'm not saying that you're aged. I'm just saying, he went from Doogie Howser to something else. So Dave Lawson, otherwise known as Cameron Smith, around the holidays, can you please kind of share with everyone, thank you for changing your name, what are you guys doing in Park City, and especially Salt Lake City, because I know you're in that market also, but what are you doing to dominate demographically, geographically, with your marketing and your consistency of it to get people to call you or reach out to you or use you?
Thanks for asking. And I don't know why this happens. And I don't know what to start. It's been going on for a year. So I guess it's just that I want to be Cam. In fact, I talked to Cam yesterday for a while.
I love him.
And we had such a great conversation. So he's going to do a training in my office. I'm going to do a training for his people. That's awesome. What we do here to help each other. Ross, I just got off our team meeting, and we brought Ross Stout on to do a team meeting with us on how to get your full commission and so on. But I love how this group works together. So farming, we've been successful with doing things. We have 4 different markets or farms that we use, and we use RM Marketing out of San Diego. I know you guys have heard about that as well. We're also doing a lot of stuff through a couple of different platforms, through like Ylopo and some of these platforms where they just send out emails and texts to people and say, do you want a home valuation? Like yesterday, we got one for a property on Wagon Wheel. It's probably $1,550,000, and we just called them. So, but that's technical, and I need Drew to be online to really tell you about that. We also do, we do mailers. We do a trifold mailer. It's a number 16 envelope. It's an 11 by 17 folded 3 times. When you put it in an envelope, the envelope is like this big. You've never received an envelope that size in your life. So when you get it in the mail, it gets opened. And that really helps us. And we're doing the same thing that Gail is. I've learned from her. Don't go after all the expireds. Don't go after all the FSBOs. But if you want to go after, I love that she has a minimum standard. It's $2 million, right? And that's very similar to what I do. If you don't have minimum standards, you'll do anything. And if you try to be everything to everybody, you'll be no one to nobody, right?
Right.
So that's basically what we're doing. And there's a lot of other little minor things, but I'm a little bit like Catherine on this call that in our L10 and our EOS meeting for this year is we're going to be doing a lot more. I've done a lot of research, and what happens when the market gets slow is the vast majority of agents, they stop spending money. And as you know me, Pete, what do? I look at everybody else, what they do, and I go, heck no with that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go the other direction. I'm going to do opposite, right? It's the old term, Warren Buffett. What's he say? Be greedy when others are cautious, and be cautious when others are greedy, right? So we are putting together a marketing plan, and I'll, give me another month and I'll share it with you. But one of the 3 things that we're working on is additional marketing. We're working on a program, get a listing, get another listing, right? So we want to always get 2 listings off of every one, and then some of the other things that we're doing. So with much more, we got a half hour left. I want to hear from everybody else. So I'm going to turn it over back to you.
I love it. Let's go to Ross the Boss Stout. He has teams in Palm Desert. He has teams in San Diego. He has teams in Orange County. He has teams in LA. He has teams in San Fran. He's got so many teams, and he's dominating geographical areas. So I want to hear how he made the move and kept his business going. I know that he, full disclosure, is affiliated with Zillow on a lot of levels, but he's one of their top people, Davis, too. So Ross, what are you guys doing geographically to dominate an area and to farm and be, front of mind in a lot of these consumers' brains and so forth? And what are you doing to really maximize your business?
Yeah, so I've been kind of writing on Leo's messaging, Leo Pareja, and that is if you're sitting around wondering why everyone else is getting business and you're not posting at all, your audience of none is because you're posting to no one, right? You need to start developing your audience. And for me, social media is now becoming my mailer. So we've transferred our efforts away from mailing to posting as a team. I developed a 35 question brand questionnaire for all of my agents. And I'm sending that out to them like, if you guys are on this call, sorry, it's not in your inbox yet, but it'll be there this afternoon. And the goal of that is I'm finding out what their superpower is personally, what their superpower is professionally as a realtor. And then we have all these questions that find out more about them and what they want to portray to the market personally and for their business. And then it's a spreadsheet. I take that and I put it into Chat GPT, and it spits out a 12-month individual marketing plan for every single agent on our team. So their branding will be specific to them. It'll have their voice, but it will give them a cadence and a plan that all they have to do is execute. So for me, that's more personal. I love listening to everybody on here, especially Gail. And by the way, my nickname was White Tiger in high school, so it's a sick picture in the background. It's awesome. And listening to your data-driven approach, that's where we want to hit people. So another social media plan we have going is, we want to do market reports, but we don't want to just do a broad stroke. Maybe I want to do a broad stroke because I'm a team leader. We have people in multiple areas, but as an individual agent, what is most important is being hyper local. And what I loved hearing Gail do is make herself hyper local in the areas that she wants to sell and she knows she can sell in and dominate. It's not just like an idea of, oh, I went on the MLS and there's like 6 listing agents in this area. I think I'll go there because nobody owns it. Like, it's probably a good practice, but why don't you go like 10 more layers deeper? Find out what your demographic is. Find out who you are and who you can appeal to. So that's what we're trying to do, where I'm trying to direct our group. And I do think that social media is the key to becoming a dominant listing agent. And yes, I'm affiliated with Zillow, but in our last team meeting, we all decided we want to be the most dominant listing team in EXP. And that's a huge goal, right? And I think we can attain anything we put our minds to, but what does that take? And it takes being that celebrity agent, the mayor of your town. When I talk here, everybody is so hyper local and dominates their areas. That's how you need to portray yourself. Perception is reality. However you present yourself to market is exactly how you'll be perceived, right? So get in there, be consistent, because just like with if you decide to do mailers, whatever it is you decide to do, whatever your superpower is, it doesn't have an ROI right away, right? You have to be consistent. You have to be patient. And I don't know if Gail's needle moved immediately. It sounds like it did, but she knew what she was getting into. 4 months. And that's when people quit, right? Actually, they quit after 30 days. I sent a mailer out. I didn't get a lead. I'm not sending another one out. You have to be consistent. You have to be dialed in, and you have to know that you're building a business. Everyone thinks they're going to get into real estate and be a millionaire in 2 months because it's so easy, right? Work the process. This is one business where you can have a very low overhead, still reach a ton of people, and make a lot of money. So be focused on what it is. It's not about today. We're getting down the road. We will get into more transactional markets. We will have better buyer sentiments. We will have sellers that they can unlock their equity with better economic terms coming in the very near future. Let's spin on that. And one thing that I love that Dave coached my team on is he built this, and I'm sorry I'm getting long-winded. I'm excited right now. He has this wealth building tool, and it's so fantastic. It's a forecast of what your property will be worth in however long you tell them that you're going to own the property, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years. And then it's going to show you what the equity will be based on average appreciation over the last zillion years, right? And it's very low. It's like 5%. But when people see that can make $500,000 in 7 years, 10 years, based on a $1 million purchase or whatever it is, that's where you can get somebody to get off their rear end and say, I'm just waiting. That's the objection, right? I'm waiting. Why? Because I'm being told to on all the media sources, because it's not safe right now. But here's the tip. If you bought in 2006, even if now we know there was a huge crash, right? How scary is that? But guess what happened? If you owned the house for 10 years, you would have had a $500K in equity. It's the only way to build wealth in America. And if you can prove people that you're proving their worth as an agent, you can get your full 3% commission, you can dominate your market, and then you can portray yourself as the expert on social media, mailers, whatever else it is. It's all full circle, and it starts with doing the right work and diving in. So there you go.
Yep.
Love
You
it.
guys are awesome.
It's great stuff. What's the number one thing that you guys have done to give you the best ROI when it comes to geographic farming? Number one thing. Is it social media? Is it direct mail? Is it calling
Social
around
media,
listings? What is it?
it's free. Social media is free. We had a guy on our team. He just decided, I'm going to highlight businesses. And then all of a sudden he gets all these business owners calling him, hey, come to my place, do this. He's making himself a celebrity agent. He's got a 2.3 in escrow. Fred Durst hit him up to buy a house. Like, all of a sudden he's dealing with celebrities because he's positioning himself as a celebrity in his market, and he's 23 years old.
Wow.
It's
That's cool.
free.
Who edits it?
so-
Does he hire
He
somebody
does.
to edit
He,
it? Or
he does it all.
Yeah, he's
Does it all.
23.
And that's his business, right? I mean, granted, he doesn't have like 3 kids and teenagers and graduations. Like we all have layers, right? Like Gail's like
If you're
6 grade kids,
23, you can do it,
Yeah.
but for all of the
Yeah.
rest of us, pay for it. It's way better to
There you
pay
go.
for it than do it yourself.
Yes.
You can't.
Yes, I agree. And what does that typically cost if somebody has to pay for it? Somebody give me an idea. I know Gail gave me the idea of around $1,000, but what could somebody do it on the cheap? Is there a way to edit your videos
That is
and make
cheap.
them look a certain way?
$1,000 is cheap. I had a
know
company. I didn't want to like do it myself, and they offered a full branding social media page for $3,000 a month, and it was only like 1 post a week. So
Jeez.
keep that in mind. If
What
you
was-
can
was the-
find the time to do it yourself, I think it's a great way to do it, especially as we're going slow. Build one sale, then you can make those hires, build into your business, budget
Right.
properly, and do the work. And if you know how to do it, then you can tell the people you're hiring how to do it. I think that's a real effective way to build your brand, build your style.
Was the post made out of gold for 1 post a month?
Platinum,
For
platinum.
$3,000? Oh my God.
Yeah.
You'd have
Diamonds.
to get hit in the head by a pelican or a seagull to do that. Anyways, that's just my opinion. Let's go over to the X-Man. He's on, he's fired up, he's all over the place. So give us your best geographical farming, best tips on how to kind of dominate an area or make it hyper local.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so a couple things. I use real marketing, like Pete and Gail. I think you're using real marketing, Gail, as well. Yeah. So it's pretty much plug and play, you guys. It's geographic specific. So if somebody else has the territory that you're looking at, this particular company won't allow you to do it because they're territorial. So which is good if once you get it. So it goes out once a month. It's plug and play. I really don't do anything. I just update a map here and there, maybe change a wording, a USP, things of that nature. But in the last 2 years, it's made me 450,000 in commissions just in my little neighborhood in Crown Point, 400 homes. So my challenge, and I'd love to chat with you, Gail, and Dave, is my market's only 400 houses. I need to expand that, right? There's very few sales in my neighborhood. There's probably 8 sales a year, so so it's somewhat limited. But the real marketing is the way to go, you guys. I think it's. Go ahead, Gail.
So here's the thing, and I'm sure you've learned this too, Dennis. All mailings are not created equally, right? Because you can mail the same thing to and I've learned the hard way by paying. And like you said, you have 400 people in that one neighborhood. In this neighborhood that I'm currently farming with exactly 450 people, over 55, I'm on my 35th transaction.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing, and I'm farming in another neighborhood right next door, 2,700 people. So I cut that down. I said, give me over 700,000. So then I cut that down to 800 people, right? So narrow down on your price point so your comps are right. But so the bigger areas is not the best. It's the small little niches. That is,
Right.
and I'll tell you what, you guys are, if I can give you any advice, the most motivated communities right now are the over 55. They're really over 75, right? Because they have so many motivations. They come in and they go, I'm too young to live here. Then they come in and go, wait a minute. My daughter, who is never going to have a baby, just had a baby, they move. All of a sudden their spouse dies. All of a sudden they go into assisted living. There's so many motivations for these older people. They're going into this community and this is they think this is the last stop, right? And it really, I've been blown away. People move in 6 months and move out in 6 months. So really pay attention to that. If you can, I just took over a big community for Del Webb, and I'm just starting that. And I have one community of 54 Del Webb, and the other one has 1,700 people, and the average home is about 20 years old. So, and guess who's hiring me? It's not the people, it's their children. Their children are getting their mail because I pay all my mom's bills. She doesn't get her mail. It's the kids that are hiring me. So think about that. So I've wasted, just like you, Dennis, and I look at the price point and I'm like, I need it bigger. But No, I've had to cancel a lot of them, right? I'm currently marketing over 5 neighborhoods right now, but ask him the most important question. What is the turnover rate? What is the turnover rate, right? So if it's not over 7%, you know, just expect ones or twosies. You know, I have a 14% turnover rate in this one community. So go after that. Get the data before you give them your credit card, you know, and make sure. And here's the good thing. If you have to cancel, they only really charge you. It's a small cancellation fee, couple $100. Who cares? But don't cancel for, you know, give it at least 6 months. Give it at least 6 months, right? Because a lot of people, it's not working. It took me 4 months in one neighborhood to get started and a year in another neighborhood to get started. So just, you know, just be careful. But I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dennis. Sorry.
No, that's all good. Yeah. No, the consistency is the key. Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, that's all I have, guys. I use Real Marketing. Basically, it's what Matt Battiata hooked me up with, and I think many of us use that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's consistent, you guys, and it works. I use that in both markets with my sphere of influence, past clients, friends, whoever. And, you know, I'm going to just give you this tip before we kind of shut this down real fast. You may want to write this down. You have to be consistent with what you do, whether it's your branding, your slogan, your font, your colors, your messaging has to be consistent on all platforms, because that's how humans basically relate to it and remember it, right? So you have to be one of the 2 people that a human brain will remember, in a sense, when it comes to real estate. And a lot of that is done through consistent marketing. You're not going to get immediate results. You have to go into it with the understanding that it's going to take between 12 and 24 months to really get traction and to get an ROI. But I'm telling you, when the ROI happens, you know, I put in there Jesse's number. You guys reach out. You can copy what I'm doing. I moved to a new neighborhood. In 16 months, I got over a 3,000% ROI on my investment. So in 16 months, I've spent now around $17,500 in my marketing to market to around 700 houses. And I've already had a return of over 500,000. So who here wants to spend 17.5 to make 500,000? I'll do it
Try
every
to
day.
get that out of Zillow.
Everybody's
Zillow
got to
doesn't
raise
pay you
their
that.
hands. And look, you don't have to recreate the wheel. We will give you the wheel. We'll give you the whole car, the whole kit and caboodle. Just call them and say, Pete told me I can copy everything that he's doing, that Gail copied from him, that other people have copied from him, because it works. This is my early Christmas present. I'm not being the Grinch. I'm being Santa. I'm going to bring and change your whole business. So do it. Take that leap of faith. You know, my word of the year, Gail, and I wanted to share this with you, is committed. That's my word this year. Last year it was focus, right? The year before that was relentless. I have a word every year, right? Jana Caudell and I do that every year. What is your word? This year it's committed. I'm committed to what I'm doing. I'm committed to attending what I say I'm going to attend. I'm committed to going to the events. I'm committed to showing up. I'm committed to being consistent. I'm committed to my marketing. I'm committed to my profession, my business, because that's what it is. You know, people hire me to market their properties and negotiate their properties and to show up with positivity and enthusiasm. And if you do that, you make a lot of money. If you want to change your whole world, try this one tip. Here's the one tip. When people call you, answer your phone. You'll be better than 99% of the agents out there. I just had an agent call me right now while we were on this, picked up the call. She said, can I show your $5 million house in 15 minutes? I said, tell me about your clients. Do they need to sell a house? Where are they coming in from? What is their timeline? How motivated they are? She goes, this is the only house they want to see. I said, I'll meet you there in half an hour. That's it. I'm professionally scheduled. But you know something? When the opportunity arises, you go and seize the opportunity.
Right.
Most people can't get out of their own way. You guys, you can do this. I don't care if you can use any excuse you want in the book. Hey, I just started, or I'm new, or I don't have a budget. That's all bullshit. That's in your head. Get out of your head. You know, the hardest part of real estate is 7.5 inches. That's the distance from one ear to the other ear. Get out of there. Get out of those 7.5 inches. You'll make a fortune.
I got
That's
a
the
question.
key.
I got a
Yes.
question. I got a question
Okay,
in one of the
I'm
chat
here.
rooms. Gail, they wanted to know how you're picking your communities and which ones you're picking. Obviously, turnover rate, but are you mailing to the communities? You mailing to their back home address and the snowbirds? How are you doing that?
So I have, like I said, I always have standards. It cannot be more than 15 minutes from my house. Why? Because I value my time, right? And so I look at the community, like when I do my SWOT analysis, I want to know, there's neighborhoods right near me. Well, I'm looking for places right now with the best amenity centers, right? Because who is my competition? You have to figure out if someone has $1 million or $500,000, what other neighborhoods are they looking at? And which one would you, as an agent or a buyer, gravitate to? So then I pick that one that they're going to gravitate to so I can sell against the other one. I also look for a feeder market. So if there's a very expensive market, like gated neighborhood, what's the one right next to it? Right? Because the people right next to it are always thinking, I want to live behind those gates. That's how I built my business in California. I had a little feeder program right around the gates, and those people would want to move up. So, and then I asked for turnover rate. What is the turnover rate in there? And I asked two people, well, Florida kind of sucks because they don't tell you everything you need to know. Like your title rep in California will say, hey, here's where all the buyers came from. Here's where, the top selling agents. So now I'm really, I'm having my California guy get me the information here, which is crazy, right? So like how many people are turning up? Because mailing houses will give you a different, and I'll tell you what, I like Real Marketing, but they have some of their software's, a little bit slow, a little bit backwards. So I'm cross-referencing. I'm not relying just on them to get me the information. I am getting a second source of information from my title reps to say, hey, get me this mailing list. I feel like we're missing people. And then I'm done trusting people because they're only as good as their software. And at the end of the day, you have to participate a little bit. So I'm just picking places where I want to live. The newer homes are the better. Nobody wants a 20-year-old home, right? They want turnkey. That's what people want. I live in a community where #1 relocation, so I have a lot of doctors coming here, not a lot of high tech, which I'm used to, but just looking for turnkey, newer homes.
I love it. That's a good question. Yeah. Cam's in the house. He's not Dave Lawson. Cam, you should have put your name as Dave Lawson because Dave Lawson had his name as Cam Smith.
You never tell, right? Dave looks so good these days. He's looking young.
I know. Give us your take on geographical marketing or demographic marketing. What are you doing to get the highest return? I'm going to let you take it home. I got to go get ready for this $5 million showing that I'm going to sell. And I'll catch up with you guys next week. But great job, Gail. I'll reach out to you. You guys are all awesome. And remember, whoever's on this call or this Zoom, you can do it. We've all been where you are. We all know where you can go. You just have to believe in it to achieve it. See you guys soon.
Beautiful home you got there, Pete. Go sell it.
I love you all. Appreciate you.
See you, Gail.
Especially you two guys.
So real quick, I'm going to only have 5 minutes here, so I'm going to run through it. One of the things down here in Southwest Florida is we have a lot of gated communities, obviously. And one of the underexploited kind of touches that you can make on these different communities is community-specific events. And I know no one spoke about this that I heard. I heard a lot of social media. I heard a lot of mailers. Those are great. You have to do those. If you do both of those combined with in-person events or have your team do in-person events with your signage that has your colors, that it's branding, keeps them, top of mind, they are fantastic, you guys. Now, they're a little bit more work. You got to kind of, work with the HOA, but you're always doing something for the community, which, who doesn't like the guy that's, 3 or 4 times a year showing up and giving stuff to the kids and doing things and making it a better place that they like to live. And then they see you month to month with your mailers, plus they see you with the open houses, plus you have your team. And, you guys, if you do everything in a step-by-step process like we train at NextGen, it just continues to multiply your advertising dollars. And you're not just trying to go after those onesies and twosies. one of the things we are obviously unique with, because we're very snowbird or second home market down here, which is why I know, we had that question there, Gail, is how do you market to the sellers when they're, not here? And that's what our mailers are working with. They obviously get to the kids, or they get to whoever's getting the mail being forwarded to. But when they are down here, that's when you need to lean heavy onto it. And that's, obviously most markets, they slow down during the winter, but ours down here, it quadruples. I mean, the amount of homes that are being sold right now, even though we are the worst home market in America, it's fantastic. And that's because we have all the people down here. It's snowing in the rest of the country, God bless you guys. But yeah, I know David Lawson loves it in the mountains, but for a lot of people, it's not fun there. So they're down here, they're looking, and the market's doing great. And that's the great part about farming a neighborhood, is that when you do have the listings, you're going to have the market share. And as the market slows down and people slow down a little bit, it allows you to get a bigger piece of market share in all of these neighborhoods. And the more listings you have, the more buyers you have. And as the market shifts, the buyers are the money. I mean, we have, you guys, I know we can't offer commissions, but we're getting emails every day, 5% commissions, plus. It's crazy, because that's the market we're in down here in Southwest Florida. And that's going to, in my opinion, probably sweep across the nation. So be ready for that. And when you have those buyers, you have that power, and you have the ability to get paid for what you're worth. And that's the incredible part about getting market share. And you can do that following the mailers, doing community events. One thing is, when you do community events, make sure everyone signs into a digital platform. Have your iPad set up, because when they consent to receiving your information, then you can market to them by following all the regulations. Regulations these days are huge, you guys. But you can have everybody in your CRM just receiving an annual drip, a monthly drip by email. Huge. Again, the more times they see your brand, they see your name, it pops up on their email monthly. They see your mailer that pops up in their mailbox. They see the open houses. It's just over and over. And before you know it, they're not going to work with anyone else, especially if you're constantly focused on giving them value. It's always about them. It's never about how great you are. Go ahead, Gail.
So 2 things I completely forgot to mention that have been game changers for us. Well, and I'll go really quickly. So one is the scan, right? What's your home worth? What's your home worth? When they raise their hand. So what I do is, once they do that, I hit them up with another jumbo postcard from Corfax, right? With another message on it. So, and then we door knock them. Okay. So we door knock all the home scans. So, and the other thing, I just got my 7th listing from an open house, because at my open houses, I have Fiji or Voss water. I have a beautiful spread out. I have this huge, banner as they walk in the door, scan here, tour of the house. And people are like, I love the way you do your open houses. So we just took our 7th. Actually, I'm going there in 1 hour. 7th listing from just being at open house. Because when you people say, oh, open houses don't work, nobody comes in. You're right. But when that one person comes in, it's usually a potential seller. It's not really a buyer, because we do see some buyers, but it's mostly neighbors that want to check out the competition. So keep that in mind.
That's an extremely good point. Is you have to, especially when you're marketing to higher end properties, you need to show up like you're a premier luxury agent. Okay. You need to present that. If you're not, go get some nice clothes, go get a nice food tray, do your business. You're a professional here, right? Great point there too is it's targeting. You have to target sellers. You're trying to build sellers with the open houses. One of the biggest, best advantages that we have done that has worked extremely well for us to doing that, turning 1 deal to 3, is the exclusive neighborhood open house. So you send out a letter that says, we just sold another home in your neighborhood. We just listed another home in your neighborhood. We're doing a sellers in your neighborhood open house. It's another touch, you guys. You're just bombarding them with your face. They see you everywhere. They think you're Alex Hormozy, or they think you're some marketing genius, because you're all in front of them all the time. And you're constantly giving them value. It's only for you, exclusive to the neighbors. Come on in. How cool is that? Well, they had to go check it out now, especially if they're thinking about selling. And they just sold another home, and they're so good, and they can help me. It's all about helping them. And that's the trick about getting farming and marketing, you guys. Real marketing is fantastic. I know Matt Battiata has used a few other platforms as well that he was mentioning before, like the magazine. Fantastic stuff there. But anyways, that's all I got for you. So I think, Gail, you were awesome. Everyone, you guys are all awesome. I'm looking
One
forward
last
to
thing one thing I'd like to just share.
absolutely.
When Gail says open houses, first of all, most people don't know this, but 30% of everybody that walks into an open house is a potential seller,
Right.
right? So how do you know it? So write this question down. Okay. If you're at an open house, this is the opening question only 100% of the time. Oh, welcome to 123 Main Street. I was curious, do you live in the area or are you thinking of moving into the area? Do you live in the area or are you thinking of moving into the area? That's the question because, oh, I live around the corner. Okay, if get their email address. If they don't, lock up the house when they leave and follow them home, find out where they live. Right? I'm joking, but we got to know, right?
Yep.
So
That's it.
and the thing
that's
is,
great.
is you got to get the contact information. And oh, you live in the area? Hey, I have this tool or whatever, right? So anyway,
Always
There you
have offers for each person depending on who they are, but to depend on who they are, you got to ask the questions. Like David just said, you ask the right questions, they'll tell you everything you need to know, and then you can give them again the value. Like David was saying, you got to offer them something. You got to give them that value, then you can help them. All right, you guys, it's just past the hour. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Make sure to invite someone. We love these events. They're so valuable. Gail, you were awesome.
Yes.
Dennis, good to
Thanks,
see you, buddy.
Gail.
David,
Love you guys. It's been
Yeah,
great
guys.
to be back on, and I can't wait to blow this up in 2026. Invite your friends, people. Okay. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
see you guys.
Pam. Bye, Dennis.